Pelicans to the 2-man.
Oh,
Let's
here we are.
chat.
How we doing, fellas? Happy Wednesday. Chuck Silver and Nick Marro here with Occupy Fantasy. We have a huge slate today, 9 games over on DraftKings, 12 on FanDuel. So we're going to get into it pretty quick. Nick, any overall thoughts on the slate before we jump into it?
Yeah, just that it's a monster. We got a ton of news we're still waiting on. A lot of good value. Definitely pick your spots. Some weird chalk. But yeah, let's dig in, man. We got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, a couple of the biggest spots I do want to mention before we get started, so you guys have an idea of the rest of the slate. Cade Cunningham, I think, is a pretty big questionable. Jaden Ivey was seen in a starter's jersey at the shoot around earlier, so if Cade's out, we're expecting Ivy to start. We're probably going to play a ton of him. Okongwu just got ruled out. Gaye is going to be on our radar now. I see someone mentioned that in the chat. And then other questionables, SGA, LeBron, Wembenyama, John Morant, Brandon Miller, Draymond Green, Trey Murphy, Kobe White. I think Kobe White already got ruled out.
He's out.
Herb Jones, Ace Bailey, and then I won't go through the probables because they're probably all fine. And we did get Jaren Jackson Jr. downgraded to questionable, so I always just assume they're out when we get those midday downgrades. Anything else you want to mention?
I mean, you covered most of it, man. I think as we go through, we'll probably identify more. But yeah, there's a
Okay.
lot we're waiting on for sure.
Top plays overall on the slate. Assuming this is assuming the guys play. I just named a bunch of these guys as questionable, but K, Jalen Johnson, Luca, Tyrese Maxey, SGA, Giannis, Jalen Brown still up here. Jamal Murray's down here against Boston. Still interested in him. Kawhi, Scotty Barnes. Going at DK value real quick. Yeah, the Champagne bros. We're going to be on them for a while until their price comes up anyway. Paul Reed. Yep, it's another Paul Reed day. Colin Murray Boyles went off last time. We got him at lower ownership. And I'll show you the FanDuel values real quick. Paul Reed and Champagne again. So let's go ahead and jump into this first game. I want to start with don't even have the schedule up. I want to start with the Nuggets and the Celtics. So Nick, let's start with Boston. There's not much ownership going to this team. Peyton Pritchard on FanDuel, the only one pulling double-digit ownership. Was there anyone that stood out here to you?
Not in a huge way. I will say Jalen Brown, whenever you're getting him this low owned, it does make a lot of sense. If some of the other chalkier payups, a la Jalen Johnson, Denny, a few of these other guys that we really like don't hit their ceilings, there is a world where Brown does. He's done that a few times this year, always kind of low owned on these bigger slates. He's the one I'm interested in. Not that that's a super hot take. White's been shooting the ball well. A little bit expensive for me. But yeah, I mean, I don't love the spot, honestly, even with Denver missing some key pieces. But I do think Brown's under owned.
I agree. Yeah, Brown and Derek White are the bulk of my exposure to this team. Not getting too much of either, but just enough to get a piece.
Yep. One more guy I will mention is Simons coming off the bench. He's been shooting the ball a lot better lately. It seems like Missoula finally trusts him a little bit,
Mhm.
and it's a bit more consistent. So if you're looking for a pivot off of some of the chalk, he is priced similarly to a lot of the cheap guards that are drawing a ton of ownership. Do you trust him fully? No, but in tournaments, I don't mind him as a pivot.
Nice. Other side of this game, Denver. So Jamal Murray being in or out's a pretty big deal. Tim Hardaway was confirmed in. Do you know?
Yeah, I didn't see if it was confirmed. Let me pull up the most recent I have here.
I know
Yeah, I don't know if it's
Christian.
confirmed.
Okay. And then Christian Brown and Aaron Gordon are still game time decisions. We did get word they'll be on a minutes restriction if they're in, so we're not really interested in playing them for fantasy. It's just a matter of how interested we still are in the rest of their teammates. Let's say everyone's in. Are you going to have any interest in this team?
The only guy would be Murray,
Yeah.
and it's the same exact narrative I just gave for Jalen Brown. It's just the upside's there without Jokic. No one's really playing him. He is expensive. It's not a great matchup, but there is a world where he ends up optimal if he has a really good game. Boston, as good as they are defensively, against guards that kind of create their own shot, they have had trouble at times this year. If this game stays close, it's definitely on the shoulders of Murray. I did just see THJ is probable, but
Okay.
regardless, I think Murray's the one guy I do want to get some of.
Okay, nice. Yeah, that's the only guy I'm getting exposure to right now. If other guys get ruled out, we'll have to see that starting lineup. But no one is super cheap anymore. Everyone's kind of priced for the team that they have. So I don't think we're getting any like Peyton Watson's up to 68 and 6,900, Bruce Brown 48, 47. I don't think we're getting any kind of advantage getting to these guys. Not to say that they're not capable of having a good game still. So if you get a couple percentage of someone here, I think it's probably okay.
Yeah.
The next game, Toronto and Charlotte. Let me pull up for just make sure no one here is questionable. Looks like we're all good here. It's just Jakob Pertl out. We saw Colin Murray Boyles put up 50 fantasy points last time. He's up to 5,600 on FanDuel. He does have that power forward eligibility, and he's 4,500 on DK. The rest of the guys pulling a little bit of ownership. Looks like just little pieces of each. Who are you most interested in?
I mean, it's always the same case with the Raptors. You can make a case for Barnes, Ingram, Barrett quickly. I think Barrett is the most mispriced of that group, so I'll probably get to him the most. But the field's kind of getting to him as well, so keep that in mind. The front court rotation's crazy. Like Murray Boyle's coming off that game. I thought he'd be a little bit more popular. I don't mind mixing him in at low ownership, but Sandro was the guy the game before. It's like they're alternating huge games right now. I think you could have one or the other and feel pretty good about it. But at the same time, it's tough to pick between the two. I do think Murray Boyles feels a little bit better because he's cheaper with the forward eligibility. But there is a world where Sandro gets there over him. But again, I think Barrett is the easiest to get to here. But Barnes, Ingram, Barrett quickly all look fine to me. Pretty good matchup against Charlotte.
The thing with Colin Murray Boyles, his minutes have been pretty good. He did get up to 31 last time, which we're not going to expect today. We do have him projected for 26, which at first glance I thought it was kind of high, but maybe it's appropriate. We could maybe take off 1 minute, but I think he looks good. He's not a guy that you're going to jam in as like a building block, but some guy that he's someone you're gonna mix in because of the high variance with the way that he plays, I guess.
For sure.
I agree with you on Barrett being the top play here, at least over on DraftKings. I'm getting a few percent of each of them for me. Barrett, Ingram, Barnes quickly in that order, and then a couple shares of Colin Murray Boyles too.
Yep.
It's only a 1 point spread, 231 total. It's not bad. Other side of the game though, Charlotte. Diabate, that's our center. He's only 5,300 on DraftKings. Model's still telling us he's a pretty good value. The only really strong value on this team, pulling some ownership. Brandon Miller over 10%. Khan pulling over 10%, even with everybody in. So what do you want to do here?
Yeah, I do like Diabate a lot, especially on DK where you could play two centers. I think if you're playing cash, not that I am, it would be Diabate and Paul Reed as your two centers over there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. LaMelo, the minutes have been tough. He has a ceiling. It's easier to get to Bridges, Miller, Canuple. But is there an order that I want to rank them in? No. It's kind of similar to Toronto, but like worse. Like one of these guys probably has a good game, maybe two, but do you know which one it's going to be that ends up optimal of that
Yep.
group? I don't necessarily, so I'd rather find guys where the usage is more concentrated if I'm only playing a handful of lineups. But if you're playing a bunch, you can mix all of these starters in. I think they all look good. But Diabate to me, kind of a core play over on DK tonight.
Yeah, I'm not getting currently not getting more than 10% of any of these guys on DK, but I am getting a share of basically all their starters except for LaMelo, and then a couple percent of Colin Sexton. Figured I'd mention him. He's only 4,500. He is pulling 4% ownership, so he's not unowned today. We'll go to the Bulls Pistons for Chicago. Anything we got to worry about in Chicago?
Not that. Nothing new. I mean, Jalen Smith is out. Still no Giddy or Kobe White, so there is some value here, I think.
Okay, nice. And Zach Collins is going to miss the game too. So Vooch, he's been great. He's not quite at 8K again. His ownership is still kind of low. I'm over the field on him currently. Getting a decent amount of Modest Buzelis too, and then just a couple percent of guys like Werder, Desunmu, and I don't know if we're off Trey Jones finally. He's kind of destroyed us the last week, but what do you want to do here?
Yeah, I am off Trey Jones just because he's not shooting the basketball. He's out there
Mm-hmm.
facilitating, but that just doesn't do a ton for us in DFS. Vooch looks amazing. I love him. He's tough to get to. Like I said, I like Reed and Diabate a lot tonight, but if you're not paying down for them, I think Vooch is one of the better pivots. I like this team better if Cade sits. I think the game would be more competitive. 2 nights ago, they absolutely crushed the Knicks. That killed a lot of my lineups. They're the best team in the East right now by a pretty wide margin, I think. But
Yeah.
Herder probably slides into the starting lineup. He's kind of interesting to me, very scoring dependent, but we do like chasing that upside. Ayo's fine. But Buzelis lately has been a beast, man. And even with the price increase, again, I would prefer Cunningham to sit to get to him here. He looks really solid. Like he's been flirting with triple doubles at times. And again, if this is a matchup between two teams missing some of their key pieces, I think he could really shine here. So Buzelis I have circled, but would prefer Cunningham to sit. I think either way, you could mix in a little bit of Herder in tournaments, and I really like Vooch as a pivot at center for sure.
Yeah, I was feeling kind of down on Modest, but with these other guys out, his usage has been pretty good. The minutes have been solid. He wasn't even really shooting well in the games before last game. The last game he shot really well against Boston, but we'll just hope the minutes and usage continue. So Modest seems good. Not a guy that I want to like super jam in, but he's a guy that I will have a bunch of. He's only projected for 12 and 7%, so you don't have to play much. We'll go to the Detroit side now. I think we have to talk about this in two ways, right? Cade Cunningham, if he's in, he's top play on the model. We've seen a bunch of these guys who are sick end up getting ruled in and having a good game. Keontae last week, Anthony Edwards yesterday. So I'm not really worried about it. The thing that I look at is his ownership will be lower than it would have been if he wasn't questionable all day. If he's in, I think I'm still playing a bunch of Paul Reed. I'll probably get to Isaiah Stewart. I will get to some Cade with sprinkles of the other guys. Maybe if he's out, I'm pretty sure we're going to be on Jaden Ivey. He was spotted in the starters jersey. But what do you want to do?
Yeah, so if Cade's in, I like him. Reed, I like no matter what. He's probably the easiest player to get to on both sides tonight,
Mhm.
just knowing what he's capable of here. I want to be under on both Stewart and Thompson, especially if Cade's in. Like, I just
Okay.
don't see the ceilings here. Maybe I'm missing something, but I don't know. It's been so long, and probably they both go off now that I'm saying this, that we've seen them do anything even close to ending up in an optimal lineup. It's such a big slate. Like, you need 30 plus fantasy points from them. I mean, I don't know. Stewart did it once in the middle of December. I don't remember the last time Oster had a game. I mean, he had two games in December with a bunch of guys out where he did well, but like the minutes haven't been there for him. Stewart is succeeding rebounds to Reed when he's out there. Like, I just don't see why these guys are so chalky. If Kate sits, it could change a little bit, but I think we'd rather be getting to whoever starts at point. I know you mentioned Ivy had the starters jersey, but I would think it would be Jenkins or Sasser. And if it's Jenkins, I mean, he's the smash of all smash plays. So we really need this news. Good news is it is one of the first games on the slate.
Yeah, with beef stew, I've talked about it like every day, and I think it's mostly come to fruition every day. When guys like Isaiah Stewart or Chalk, these are not the days you want to play him. You want to play him on days when no one's really getting there. Like, yeah, he has more opportunity today. The minutes have been there, but like Nick just said, Paul Reed's kind of taking away from his opportunity, and we're very interested in Paul Reed as it is. So if Cade's ruled out, yeah, we'll get to a little bit more Isaiah Stewart. I still have him in my exposures, just not that much. And you mentioned Jenkins. I'll mention Sasser too. Don't know if you said his name, but both of these guys would look pretty good. Sasser, 3,700. I don't know. They're kind of being weird with his minutes, but if Cade's out, then hopefully he'll see this 24. Maybe he doesn't show up in projections. Maybe he doesn't update on the model, and the rest of the field doesn't realize he has a potential to play 20 minutes today.
Yeah, whoever starts would be chalk, whether it's Sasser or Jenkins, but the other would be a pretty decent pivot.
Hit the chat up real quick. What's up, Ben? HB, Heath, regulars. Love to see you guys. Zinger is the way. We'll see what Nick thinks about Atlanta in a minute. Luke, that's my username. I thought this was Nick's username, so I typed mine in real quick, but it's all
It
right.
is. Or
Oh, okay.
no, I'm Nicky the Eye on FanDuel and
Yeah,
DraftKings.
this is this your Twitter?
This is my Twitter. Yeah, my Twitter.
Yeah, I took one look at it and thought it was your username, so I put mine in, but that's okay.
It's
We'll
all
know
good.
who we are here when we see each other on the leaderboards. And Brandon Miller just got ruled out, so we'll maybe if we have time we'll circle back to Charlotte, but it's pretty much just a little boost to everyone else. I think Khan would probably be the player I'm most interested in now.
Yeah, Con and then Bridges in that order.
We'll go to the next game, Wizards and Sixers. You see all the trade news regarding the Wizards acquiring Trae Young. Isn't that fun?
Yeah, I mean, he wants to go where he could have a 40% usage rate. Not many teams want that. So, yeah, hopefully he gets over there.
It's like such a disaster. And I saw they're discussing Corey Kispert for Trae Young swap. Like, what are we doing? But
It's got to be a salary thing. Like, there's going to be a bunch of picks, I imagine.
so we're without CJ McCollum, Chris Middleton. Is there someone else out that I'm missing? I feel like there's one
Um,
more out. Keyshawn George has been out. Cam Whitmore's out. No, that's it.
yep, that's it.
So Carrington, I mentioned him yesterday. He didn't really do it. I think he just gave us the 5x of 25 fantasy points, but his price actually came down. Whatever, stayed the same, but he's projected to be chalk. He will be starting with no CJ McCollum in. Champagne, wow, look at those value scores, 33 and 28%. He's at the top of the model. Sar is I thought he'd be a little more popular after blowing up yesterday. I'm getting a little bit more than this 10%. And then I'm really happy Koulibaly is not more chalk after yesterday, but I would not be surprised if he came in a little bit higher owned than what we're projecting right now.
Yeah, so first on Sar, I think there's a little bit of concern that his minutes could be capped a bit here. I know he played, 30 yesterday. But prior to that game, he'd been kind of limited working his way back from an injury. Combine that with the fact that he's going to be dealing with Embiid here. I just don't know that it's the best spot. In the backcourt, I do like Harrington. I think Trey Johnson is the much more talented player, but the minutes for him haven't been as consistent as Bubs. I think you could play both of them, but I definitely prefer Carrington. But when you look at the ownership, I mean, just logically speaking, Johnson's a pretty good tournament pivot. Champagne's been a guy that I try to avoid when he's chalking. It has burned me every single time. I think I'm finally going to go to him today as chalk. It's just tough to get away from. But again, Koulibaly, very, very logical pivot, similar price, similar position. And different than the guards, I actually think Koulibaly could play more minutes than Champagne here. So again, I think you can play a few of these Wizards in a lineup and feel good about it. But if you're looking for pivots, they're right there on this team. I do like Koulibaly and I do like Trey Johnson just as much as I like Carrington and Champagne here, I think.
Yeah, I was getting a decent amount of Trey Johnson, but it's really discouraging to see a guy we're interested in show up with a single digit value score. It's not great. His price is coming up. He's been starting. The minutes have been there. He's probably an okay play, but the model is telling us we could probably just stay away. I was getting quite a bit more than this 5%. I might have to just cross him
Yeah,
out.
I'm a fan of his, and the minutes have kind of been there. Like he's never getting to 30. I do think it's notable that on the front end of the back to back, he only played 22 though. So maybe we do actually get the 27 we're projecting him
Okay.
for tonight, which would be nice.
Okay. And then we just got Corey Kispert ruled out, so Trey Young is that Trey Young trade is going to be announced any second now. This is
I'm
20 minutes.
calling.
It is 20 minutes coming out of the rotation, so they'll go to somebody else. But I'm already getting a lot of exposure to this team, so I don't feel I need any more exposure with Corey Kispert out.
Yeah, I mean more than just using these guys as pivots now. I think you can combine them. They're some of the best value on the slate, even in a tough matchup.
Looks like I have a decent amount of lineups with 3 Wizards and 4 Wizards over on DraftKings right now. I'm okay with it. Philadelphia is the team we want to target players against. It is a 17.5 point spread. This is, I mean, Vegas knows more than me, but that seems like a lie. I'd be kind of surprised if Philly actually won by 17 today.
Didn't the Nuggets G League squad win the other night with a similar spread
Yeah, what are we? Yeah, exactly. Just
in
bet
the
the
same
underdog every
matchup
night,
too? I
guys.
think.
Yeah, if you
Yeah,
bet the underdog every night, you're probably going to profit because players are just too good in the NBA now. But on the Philadelphia side, we have a few guys we're interested in. Top of value, once again, VJ Edgecombe, under 10% ownership. His 7,600 FanDuel price is kind of a sticker shock. I don't know that I'd be getting there, but I do have a few percent at 6,700 on DraftKings. Love getting over on Maxi. And that's about the bulk of the rest of my interest in this team. We did get word that Watford and Kelly Oubre are back, and they will be on minutes limit, so it does cut into the rotation for everybody else. What do you want to do?
yeah, I do like Edgecombe, but these guys returning could cut into him. He's been playing more minutes than I think anybody in basketball, which is kind of crazy to say. Like 40 plus in 3 of his last
Yeah,
4 games. Like what? Is Tibbs like coaching him only specifically? I don't know. But yeah, I mean, you could make a case for him. I think he's fine. Again, Embiid obviously has a ceiling, but there's so many other centers we're getting to. I just don't know that we need to go there. Maxi, I'm fine with as a pivot, especially if you're loading up on Wizards. Maybe you hope this game stays close, but that's it. Like I would leave Grimes, Oubre out. George at its price is fine, but I think there's better plays in that range.
yep, I agree. I'm getting a decent amount of Maxi and then a couple shares of Edgecombe as of now. I'm not really going to play anybody else here anymore. We'll go to the Pelicans Hawks. Let's talk about the Hawks first. They're kind of a fun one today. We only have 8 players on on the model. Let me refresh because we had a Kongwu ruled out, but the Hawks, interesting team. What do you want to do?
I mean, all the Jalen Johnson. We keep saying they need to raise his price. They did a little bit, but I'm still going to him again here today. I
Yep.
absolutely love him. Porzingis is a no for me. I mean, we have him at 21 minutes. I don't know if he'll even play that. Again, he's working his way back from an injury. Since the new year, he hasn't gotten over 19. Like maybe today's the day they take the training wheels off, but I wouldn't count on it. And yeah, he's drawing ownership too. Like if he was very low owned, I could see it. I know the prices come down, but I'm just not crazy about it as chalk. Daniels is fine, just super inconsistent. I'd rather get to Alexander Walker if I'm choosing between the two. I believe this is revenge narrative for him here as well. He spent some time with the Pels, right? After the Timberwolves, or am I
Mm,
thinking of someone else?
yeah.
Doesn't matter. Regardless, he's a pretty good play here. Obviously, big bump in usage for him with no Trey. Okongwu being out, he's been taking up some of that lately. But yeah, I mean, it's Jalen Johnson all day here. If Gouye starts, I know we're going to get the question. You could play him. I just don't know that I want to. I mean, it could burn us. It has at times. But another guy is chalk. I usually try to get away from.
Yeah, we're jamming in Jalen Johnson today. I mentioned Nickel Alexander Walker. His price is kind of uncomfortable. I guess he's pulling ownership today, but didn't he put up another 50 ball like 2 or 3 games ago?
Yeah, I mean, he had 45, I think, against Toronto a couple games ago. Yeah, he's got the ceiling for sure.
Yeah, even at this uncomfortable price, I'm with the field. I think that's okay. Kristaps Porzingis, you just talked me into crossing him out of my player pool, so I'm going to hope he doesn't have a good game. It's harder on FanDuel because he's only 5,500, but this is really disgusting ownership. So I'll take my
Yeah.
chances that he doesn't do it and eliminate half the field in the process. And yeah, with Gaye, not sure what to do there. I'm not really getting much right now. You mentioned that if he starts, you'd be interested in playing a lot more.
I said he would be chalk. I mean, I'd still try to get away from it. And just
Okay,
one more thing on Porzingis, like I don't know that I want to talk you to 0%. Like
you
you could
did.
maybe sprinkle in a little bit, just
Nope.
because like you look at the three matchups that he's come back to: Minnesota, Knicks, Toronto. Like those are pretty good defenses. Like this is a much better spot here for him. So I don't think the minutes are going to be there. I think he plays 19 or 20. But we were talking about it before the show. Like he could get there. It's just that high ownership probably not something you want to chase. But again, this is the softest matchup he has seen since he's returned from injury. So I just wanted to mention that.
It's pretty high total, 247 and a half. I started with Atlanta for a reason. We just got some news on New Orleans. Herb Jones and Trey Murphy got ruled out, so it's kind of
Beautiful.
interesting. We got something else here I didn't mention. All the Denver guys are ruled in: Christian Brown, Aaron Gordon, Jamal Murray. Um, yeah, Corey Kispert out. Spencer Jones and Tim Hardaway also in for the Nuggets. Jalen Pickett is in for the Nuggets, and that's it. James Harden's in. Uh,
Nice.
we can go to the next team. We talked about this team enough. They're a good place. New Orleans, though, we'll have to wait a few minutes for the model to refresh, but I might surprise you with my top play here. It's Derek Queen, and it's not particularly close. It was that way before those guys got ruled out, too.
Yeah, I don't hate it, man. The forward eligibility is the main reason. Like, if he was center only, I think it'd be much more of a conversation. But I'm with you. Extra usage for him this season is going a long way, regardless of who's out that provides that for him. So I do get it. I definitely like him.
There's something about Smitty told me about this earlier. On November 23rd, Derek Queen tweeted out January 7th, 2026 at 6:30 p.m. Central Time. If I'm not mistaken, that's the time that this game starts. So he has a vendetta against Atlanta. I already like Derek Queen today, so I'm riding it. I have him for a pretty
Oh,
insane projection. He's pulling
yo, it's
19%
because of the
ownership.
trade. They traded the pick, man. I
Yeah,
completely forgot about that. Shouts out Smitty. That's a hell of a narrative, especially if you tweeted it. I absolutely love it.
and with Trey Murphy out now and Herb Jones out, I'm just hoping Derek Queen's ownership doesn't come up too much. I'm assuming that these scores will come up slightly with those guys out of the game. Maybe his minutes projection will come up too, but at 6,300, I'm pretty interested in getting back on the Derek Queen train. We kind of got off him for like a month while his price was kind of high.
Yeah, and another reason to like Queen even more is it is a back to back. Zion, I'm a little bit surprised he's not one of the guys they're resting. Back to backs this year: 22nd, 23rd, 25 minutes against Dallas, followed by just 20 against Cleveland. I think that is the last time he's had one, or 26 and 29 against Phoenix. Like, I think he's capped at 30 minutes. We have
Okay.
him right there, so I think we did a good job with the projection. But just knowing that Queen's probably going to get a little bit of extra run could take him even further up our priority list here. So I like him a lot.
Yeah, Zion's been pretty great. He had a couple off games, but for the most part, he's been pretty good. It sucks that his ceiling is like hard capped since he's probably only going to play 30 minutes. I think we should be a little more interested in now. And then as for the other guys on this team that might be able to pick up the slack today, like who directly takes Trey Murphy's minutes and Herb Jones? They're kind of the same position.
I honestly think Poole is going to be on the floor a ton
Yeah.
here.
Yep. Pool.
Um, yeah, he usually doesn't play like more than 25 when everyone's healthy, but we've seen him get over 30 with a couple guys out. I think he's someone we could definitely circle. Fears is going to play maybe a few more. A really interesting guy to me to keep an eye on, though, is going to be actually there's two. Matkovic, again, the bigs are healthy, but I think he could play the wing if they want to play a big lineup. So maybe he gets a little bit extra run. And then McGowan, is he healthy? When he starts, he's had some pretty big games this year. I don't
He
mind
is.
mixing him in as a punt.
Yeah, he's in. That's the guy. He's not showing up on the model here. McGowan's though. That's a person we're going to be interested. Not the jam. He's only 3,400 on
Right.
DraftKings. Probably pretty high variance, but yeah, we're going to get there. Jordan Hawkins is another guard that can fill in, but like Nick mentioned, we're probably just going to be interested in Jordan Poole there. I'm seeing what the industry is giving Jordan Poole right now. He's projected insane. He's going to be mega chalk today.
Yeah.
Jeremiah Fears is a good pivot if you don't want to get to Poole. I mentioned Poole's the type of guy we don't really want to play on Daisy's chalk. I said that on a day he was coming off the bench when everyone else was in. This is different. He's underpriced for the role he probably has today with these guys out.
Yeah, I like Poole and I like Fears, kind of opposite of what I'm talking about with Zion. Fears has been playing less minutes on the front end of back to backs. His
Okay.
season highs on minutes this year have come on the back end of back to backs, which is kind of weird to me. So I do want to get to some Fears, especially if the field isn't.
It's good. Turin, Rocket Sauce. Don't send their short king to Siberia. Who are we talking
Trey.
about? Oh, gosh. Well, maybe you should pass the ball or shoot the ball. One of the two. Four-man Nugget stack was good versus Philadelphia. You're a fan of Four Wizards. I don't know that I'd say I'm a fan of it. I'm doing it a bunch because it just kind of makes sense, but it feels not the best.
Nuggets play their hearts out that night, man.
Yeah, did you watch?
Hopefully we see the same here from the Wizards, but they really wanted that game, and you could see it.
Model is wrong on Gaia. It probably hasn't updated yet. It was taking a while to update on those Pelicans because I thought that was pretty important. Gaia, well, the model has Gaia for 21 minutes. So if you think it's wrong, maybe just to keep it simple, if you think he plays 30 minutes, that's a 50% increase in minutes. Just increase these by 50%. Now all of a sudden he's at 16 value, 15 value. So if you disagree with the minutes, that's a way that you can play with it to, get the, I don't know, data correct as you think it is. Alvarado's out too. You hope Fierce plays 35 minutes. It sounds like it's a possibility.
He played 33 on the second half of a back to back earlier in the summer.
Yeah, Nick and I talked about this exact situation. One particular night last season, Luke called Zinger out as the play of the night, and I said no, and the rest of the chat said no, and he put up 50. Yeah, that's happened almost every single time. So just you guys already should
You
know
guys
that.
all want to play Zinger, go ahead and play him. Just because we aren't doesn't mean you don't have to. But yeah, on paper, there's a reason he's popular. It's just, I don't know. I think there's a floor there too.
Guy was at 13 when you posted that, so his minutes are probably still updating. We'll see. Keep refreshing. Like it usually takes a few refreshes of the model to get where it wants to go. And what do we think about Cunningham playing? No idea. Oh, he just got ruled out, so I don't think he is.
Good.
And yeah, we'll return to Detroit. We're gonna have to rush through these last games. And should you fade Stephon Castle or Kevin Porter? We haven't even talked about him yet, so we'll see what Nick thinks when we get there. Let's go to this next game so we can keep it moving. Magic and Nets.
Ooh.
Magic, I crossed out this whole team. I have no interest in playing anyone here. The field doesn't. So, with that said, they are all decent GPP plays because no one wants to get there after they completely burned the world down yesterday. They got benched, so it's not like they were playing bad, but they definitely all lost minutes. You have any interest?
Same as Jalen Brown, same as some of these other guys. You could get Banchero in a soft matchup at very low ownership. It makes sense in tournaments. No Suggs is enough to make Black a little bit interesting, but again, we have so many obvious plays on the slate now that they're tough to get to. But I will say this: when we have this much value, some of these studs become more popular than they should be. We'll see the ownership concentrate on the Jalen Johnsons who we love, a few of these other guys who maybe we don't like as much. Someone like Banchero or Jalen Brown at low ownership, that's where you're going to want to get different if all that chalk value is hitting. So I do like Banchero just as like a tournament pivot. Not much else though.
We'll go to the Brooklyn side. Oh, you're Brooklyn Nets. Also, not really pulling ownership here. You guys know that I've been really liking Michael Porter Jr. as a GPP play. A little different with Cam Thomas back, though. Can we get to anybody here?
I mean, Thomas has been coming off the bench and they're staggering the minutes, so I wouldn't worry about that too much with Porter. I think Porter, similar story is what I'm saying about Banchero. Like, just to get him at low ownership, knowing he has a ceiling, he's fine. I wanted to play some Igor today, but with all this guard value, I'm not going to be anymore. Do like the kid, though. But that's it. Claxton's back, no more Sharp. Thomas, limited minutes off the bench. It's really just MPJ. And again, I do like him as a tournament pivot, but if you're only playing a lineup or two, you probably don't get there.
I didn't realize he had three really good games in a row. Yeah. Price coming up a little bit. He's only a couple percent owned though, guys, so we don't have to play much to get over the field on him. We'll go to the Clippers and the Knicks. So we do have word that James Harden's in. Kawhi Leonard's been on a tear. The model's not identifying anyone here as a strong value, maybe Zubac. We do have him projected for 33 minutes, though. Remember, he's kind of still coming back from that injury. What's your interest here?
Yeah, I mean, I'll say the same thing about Kawhi as these other guys. If he's low owned, he's upside. We got a ton of value. Don't mind mixing him in. Obviously, the ceiling's lower with Harden back. That's really it, though. I mean, again, there's better centers than Zoo tonight. This team's getting healthy. They're kind of priced where they should be. I think that's all I really have to say.
Yeah, I'm paying up for Kawhi, and that's pretty much it.
Yep.
Other side, the Knicks. I'm guessing they're not coming in with any ownership either. Nope. Everyone's under 10%. Again, no one's really standing out. The model's identifying Mitchell Robinson. Remember, it did identify him the other night when he put up, what did he put up, like a 6.5 over on FanDuel, but he's only 3 and 4% projected ownership, 44 and 4,200. We always like, even though he gets the extra point for blocks, we're probably going to prefer him on DraftKings where we can play two centers. Are you interested in him or any of the, I guess, pay ups here?
If it was a smaller slate, maybe, but honestly, no. I just think there's better plays like than all these guys. Low total, just not a ton of interest.
Yep, I have about 5% of Brunson and 4% of Cat, 1% of Miles McBride. So that could be a value pivot. Model's not really telling us he is, but projected for 29 minutes at 1 and 2% ownership at this price, that is a value pivot.
That's fair.
We'll do Suns versus Grizzlies. So the Suns, man, they've been a really funny team to watch. They just game time OKC a couple days ago. What do you want to do here? Only Devin Booker's pulling ownership. I guess Dylan Brooks over on FanDuel, but I don't have much interest.
Yeah, I mean, again, if this was a smaller slate, we didn't have a ton of value. Goodwin made some sense. He was drawing ownership earlier in the day. I don't really think you need to go there anymore. Grayson Allen returning kind of cuts into everyone, so they're all priced about where they should be. Like you could mix in a little bit of Booker, a little bit of Brooks, but nothing I'd be prioritizing honestly.
Yep, mixing those guys in, and I was kind of interested in Mark Williams, but it's really hard to get to him today. Other side of this game, Memphis. Memphis is going to be an interesting one. We need news on John Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr. Remember, Jaren Jackson Jr. got downgraded to questionable late, so I kind of just assume he's out, but we can't take him out of the model until that's official. So how do you want to handle Memphis?
Yeah, I think we expect him to be out here. I don't know about Jaw. That's where it gets a little bit tricky. But yeah, let's say we get Jackson out, and Aldama's questionable too, isn't he? Or was he ruled in?
Aldama, I don't have him on my list here, but he might be.
Yeah, on the 545 injury report, he was questionable. But
Okay.
speaking in hypotheticals, right? I think Landell and Greg Jackson are both going to become appealing if one or both of those guys are out. So definitely keep an eye on that. Cam Spencer, good play yesterday. I mean, if Jaw's out, we could go right back to the well there. Only played 29 minutes in that ceiling game. So I wouldn't be too concerned about the back to back for him. I think he looks really good. Again, if Jaw's out, but we do need some news here. If everybody's in, I just don't have a ton of interest in anything.
GG Jackson has a couple gets playing time now. You call him by his government name, Gregory Jackson.
Yeah, that's funny.
I agree with you though. It's pretty uninteresting if Jaw is in. If he's out though, yeah, we're probably going back to Cam Spencer. See, it's a tough team to talk about without knowing what's going to happen. So pop into Discord later, and maybe we'll have a better discussion on that. We'll go to the Utah OKC game. OKC is 19.5 point favorites. They've been bad since Jalen Williams back. I don't know how to explain it, but no one on this Utah team's pulling ownership. Model's not telling us any of them are good plays. With that said, I'm usually always okay getting a couple percent of Markkinen and Keontae, at least a couple percent, and Nurkic too.
Yeah, not so much Nurkic today with all the other centers we have, but always comfortable getting a little bit of Laurie and Keontae. But can't call anything a priority in this matchup. It's just a terrible spot, really, even if OKC's struggling a bit.
I'm actually getting like a healthy amount of Nurkic, 15% over on DraftKings. That's a lot for a
Interesting.
guy that's projected for 1% ownership. Maybe that'll change those. I haven't adjusted for Gaia or a couple of the other news items we've had.
Hey, I mean, he could get there.
I don't think any of the role players are particularly interesting. We have better options. This is the worst matchup in the NBA.
Yep.
Not even really getting to Keontae today, just a couple percent. OKC though, we do have blowout fears, 19.5 point spread. Pretty strong total though. These guys are pulling a little more ownership than maybe they should. I'm not really understanding the Aaron Wiggins, AJ Mitchell ownership. Like they're fine plays, but why are they standing out today?
Yeah, I wonder if people were like assuming SGA would sit. Like, that's my only guess. But then in the same breath, like the spread's still almost 20 points. So kind of tells me he plays. I don't have a ton of interest if SGA is in. If he's out, I do think Mitchell would be the first guy I'd have some interest in. Um, Wiggins is so cheap, and he's kind of that hybrid that could play in a blowout potentially, but there's no guarantee there. So again, you can mix these guys in as secondary pieces. Obviously, Williams and Holmgren would see a decent bump if SGA's out, but right now, the spread's kind of telling me he's in. I don't have much interest.
Same. Yeah, if SGA is in, I do have 14% of AJ Mitchell, so I guess that would be the one spot that I have more than 10% of. But if SGA is out, you guys are going to have to hop in the Discord and see what Jayhawk thinks after the show because it's too hard to go through all the if thens. Just know that these guys are already kind of showing up as good plays by the model. And so while I mentioned their ownerships might seem a little bit high, if SGA gets rolled out, they're probably going to be a little bit too low. We'll do, does that finish up DraftKings?
Yep, it does.
All right, let's build. We'll build a quick dummy before we race through FanDuel. Throw out your top plays, Nick.
Let's go. Oh god, I have to refresh the model now. Jalen Johnson, I know that one.
Yep.
Paul Reed, Diabate. What else do we have going here? I guess Champagne first before the guards from Washington, but probably Bub Carrington next. Derek Queen, narrative season.
Yes, sir.
I love that.
I think we have a ton of salary left.
I think I threw you like almost a full team.
Yeah, we have 6,900 left, average for two positions, a shooting guard and a guard.
I don't mind Con.
I was going to say Jordan Poole's an option or Fears too.
Oh, yeah, we should probably get Poole in there. That's fair.
Let's get Jordan Poole. You know it's always a great day when Jordan Poole is in the occupied dummy.
Yeah.
It usually hasn't been great days when that's happened. 8,100 for a shooting guard. Is there a shooting guard? Desmond Bain? We're not playing him, but we did mention we like Derek White. So
I'd go White over Bain, yeah.
Yeah, this is pretty good. Any, I mean, the pivots, just pivot off the pay-ups, right?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, there's some pivots within Washington. I do think Koulibaly and Trey Johnson are pretty appealing at lower ownership. But yeah, again, you could pivot off the studs. I do think Jalen Johnson is very clearly the top player on the slate, though.
I agree. Yeah, Jalen, love him. I'm pretty sure the rest of the industry is kind of catching up on projecting him correctly, but he's still not to the point where I think he should be. I wanted to revisit Atlanta real quick to see where Gaia is. Yeah, we still have him at only 20 and a half minutes. So like I said, if you think he plays more than this, you can adjust his value ratings yourself by just adjusting it proportionally with his minutes. What about Pritchard, 6,800 FanDuel? I think he's just a GPP play. We're more interested in Brown and White, but Pritchard, I mean, this is a fine score to mix in a guy. Yeah, he's 10% projected ownership that would be what would get me away from him. Not that 10's high, but it feels kind of high for Peyton Pritchard today.
Yeah, it probably comes down a little, but again, just a tournament play. He's fine.
Does Fears project better now? Yeah, in my newest run, I'm getting a ton of Jeremiah Fears. His price is really good on DraftKings anyway, 5K. And this value scores, oh, shit. All right, let's take a look at the top values. Paul Reed, Derek Queen, Jeremiah Fears, Jaden Ivey, Champagne. Did Cade just get ruled out? We just got news he's still a game time decision, so I'm not sure why Ivey's up here now. We took Cade out of the model, so I don't know if that was official or not, but these are what the value scores on Detroit would look like if Cade's ruled out, and it's pretty much play everybody. What is this Stacy, dude? I need to know.
This is some ongoing thing with Billy here.
Power likes Danis over Bub. I think that's a pretty good call out. Yeah, Danis and Marcus Sasser might go a little bit forgotten. Karis LeVert's in today too. He's pretty cheap over there.
Yeah, whoever starts.
Nick, no love for Danny Wolf?
Not today. I do love the kid. If this was like a 4-game slate or if you're playing Showdown, you could mix him in. But again, Claxton's back. It's going to take some minutes away. There's just too many other options.
Cade is officially out. Nice. So we'll do Detroit at the end of the show real quick if the model updates. But for the real updates, like you guys are going to have to hop into Discord. We're going to run out of time. Let's knock out the rest of the FanDuel slate. On the Lakers, Luka's projected for 10%. Laravia burned the world down yesterday. I don't know that I'm getting back to him at 6K. Marcus Smart's 5K. I think it's too big a slate to get to anyone here except for Luka and maybe LeBron.
Yeah, LeBron's questionable, isn't he? If he's out, Laravia probably becomes a thing again. But at his price, it doesn't feel good, especially off that dud. And then Luka's Luka. I mean, if you could afford him, feel free. On
the Spurs side of things, probably depends a bit on Wembanyama, too. No one's pulling ownership right now. If Wemby's out, we're going to have more interest in the rest of the team. As it is right now, though, if Wemby plays, I don't know that I'd be getting much exposure. I'm kind of always willing to take GPP shots on the Champagne bros now. And Stephon Castle, Now that he hit 8K, it's just really hard with if everyone's in.
Yeah, totally agree. I will say, last time when we was out, Olynyk was chalk. We said we didn't want to do it, and he was going to go off. He had 24 fantasy points in 20 minutes. You can use him if you're trying to go stars and scrubs. I wouldn't be rushing to it though. Cornette's been okay. Wouldn't mind getting to a little bit of him, but again, I think there's better center plays on this slate.
Rocket Sauce would be shocked if Braun played. He said he wants to play back to backs for the rest of the season, so we'll see. We'll see if they let him. Uh, Second to last game, Bucks and Warriors. We did have a question about fading KP. The question about fading Stephon Castle too. His price is at a point where it's definitely okay to fade him. Don't feel like you have to play him at 8K. And with KPJ, assuming you're talking, it was Kevin Porter Jr. If I'm remembering correctly, it's obviously fine to fade him too. He's only projected for 2%. Giannis projected for 10. Ryan Rollins 5. Models giving us a couple plays here. Are you interested?
The minutes are up for Giannis. He played 31 against Sacramento. He's the one guy I think I want to mix in. Again, it's just a product of the slate. We have a ton of value. Some of the expensive guys are popular. Most of them aren't. It's probably wise to mix and match those studs because if one has a really big night, you're going to want them. And yeah, they're all pretty easy to get to. So Giannis for me, that's really it.
Rocket Sauce, I appreciate this follow up. He also said I'm 41. Every back to back is a game time decision. Yeah, we'll need that LeBron news before later. Golden State. Jimmy and Steph will in some ownership. I've been over the field on Steph Curry almost every single day. I'm not sure it's actually worked out in the past couple of weeks, but I'm going to do it again today. Big fan of Steph. He's only projected 11%. Model thinks he's fine. Draymond kind of stands out too. He does have the, we have to worry about his ejection equity because he got ejected when he was going off last game. But I'll mention DeAnthony Melton too at 4,300, only 5% owned. What's your interest here?
Yeah, there's not too many guys on the Bucks to beef with. I guess maybe Portis, but yeah, I think Draymond's okay. I don't know that we need to play him. Like, there's a bunch of guys in that range we prefer. Curry and Butler are fine. I think they're never gonna like really kill you. Like, they're gonna be around 40 fantasy points most nights, but they do have enough upside to consider. For that reason, I do prefer Curry. Like, that ceiling seems a little bit more often for him. But those two are fine. Other than that, there's really nothing I'm rushing to.
Last game of the night, Rockets and Trailblazers. What did we have any injury news for Houston?
No Sengun. I think that's the big one.
Okay, nice. So Steven Adams, pretty strong value. Jabari Smith showing up great. I love Jabari Smith. The model tends to love him, but he doesn't tend to love us, if you know what I mean. He doesn't really go off that often. Tari Eason's still pulling ownership. 6K, it's a little bit of a sticker shock because he, hit that kind of next price barrier, but I love Tari Eason. I think he's great, especially with no Sengun. We do have him projected for 29 minutes. He's been on a hard minutes limit. So maybe that's a little bit high. I'd probably knock this down slightly. So maybe he's slightly overowned, but I think he's still fine. And then KD and Amon. Actually interested in mixing in more KD than Amon today. What about you?
Yeah, I mean KDE has been more reliable with Sengun out. I think they both have increased upside, obviously, but I do like Durant. There's a ton of good value guards too. Durant having forward eligibility, especially on FanDuel where he's on the main slate, makes it more appealing to me. So I'm with you on that. The minutes for Eason have ticked up a little bit. Like for the first time in his entire career, I think he's coming off back-to-back 30-minute games. So I'm
Hey,
definitely fine getting to him. And we were just talking about playing Draymond. Just find 100 and go to Eason if that's where you're at. Would much rather play him. Smith it's fine. Would still rather play Easton. And then Adams, I do actually like here a little bit. Again, there's a lot of good value centers on the slate. He is one of them. Would rank him behind Paul Reed and Diabate, but if you're playing a bunch of lineups, not a bad pivot.
it's a pretty close spread against Portland, too. We like that. Not a good total, 222. It's the lowest of the day, if I had to guess. Reed Shepard, now that he's back to close to 5K, I'm pretty interested in getting over the field. Like him being 6% is actually kind of surprising on FanDuel, but I don't mind it. You can play 9%, 10% and be over the field. He's the kind of guy that always has that blow up potential that's not really going to be identified by optimizers and models, whatever. And the last team, the Trailblazers. So we already mentioned it's a pretty low total game. No one here is pulling ownership. Like considering how much ownership the other side of this game is pulling, no one's being identified by the model either, except for City Sissoko. Do you have any interest here?
I really don't. I mean, I kind of like Denny, but the price is just crazy right now. I'll make the same case for him that I made for some of the other studs. Like low ownership, guy has a crazy ceiling. You could mix him in, but I going through the game logs, he's had some trouble against Houston. I don't want to look too deeply into that. But yeah, just nothing really from Portland. Maybe some Clingan. Um, Again, he spiked some big upside lately. The minutes have been better for him. But that's probably it. I'm a huge fan of Caleb Love, at least as far as DFS goes. Guy takes a million threes. If you're in that range of Reed Shepard, I think he's a pivot there. But again, it's nothing that I'm prioritizing at all on Portland.
I refreshed the model, pulling up Detroit to see how we're handling Cade Cunningham out. It's crunching a little bit harder. We see Isaiah Stewart pulling that ownership. We mentioned we're a little bearish on him, and I do think the price is still kind of uncomfortable, especially on FanDuel. He's already been playing 30 minutes. Maybe the usage goes up a little, but I don't think he's the type of player that's going to start to take over or anything. So if this ownership goes up on Stu, I'm kind of very uninterested, but I'm interested in these top three guys, especially Duncan Robinson at that ownership.
Yeah, I will say this: Stewart's best game of the season, or second best game of the season, came against the Bulls. 24 minutes, 46 points back in October. Again, too small of a sample to really care about, though. I'd rather just not play him. He had 20 real points that game. I don't think that's something we see all too often from him.
And these three guards, these three value guards, Karis LeVert, Danis Jenkins, and Marcus Sasser are very interesting to me. I guess I'll throw Ron Holland in that category too. He's a small forward. But I don't think anyone's going to know what to do with these three, but it would not be surprising at all if one of them ended up having a really good game, got extended minutes.
If Jenkins starts, I think he's an absolute smash play. He's my favorite by a pretty wide margin. I think they would start him over Sasser, but something to keep an eye on. Um, Sasser's a good pivot, but yeah, I do kind of rank Jenkins a little bit higher than the others. That is if he starts. Off the bench, it would be a little bit trickier. Duncan Robinson, no one's going to pivot to, but I actually think he could take more shots here. Bulls aren't great defensively. I don't know. I could see him maybe getting there as a large field play, but again, we need the lineup, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm assuming Paul Reed, Duncan Robinson, Isaiah Stewart, and Asar Thompson are four of the starters, and then we just need to know if it's Shaden Ivey, Danis Jenkins, or it's probably one of the two starting. If we get that Danis news kind of late, he's going to be a good play. But I think we want to get over here. I think you have to make some manual adjustments because the industry's not really going to adjust properly. I mean, we did for Jaden Ivey, I guess, but I don't. I still think we're maybe Danis we adjusted properly 14.0, but we're behind on something here. And last question, thoughts on Rollins for Milwaukee? Yeah, he showed up pretty good. So when I have a player, I'm like, this could be a GPP play. No one's on him, but the model likes him enough. I think they're usually okay to go with.
Yeah, mix him in. I think he's fine.
So, guys, appreciate it. We made it through a 12 gamer. I'm only 5 minutes over, so shout out to us. I really hope it goes well. Good luck to us. And Jayhawk will be in the Discord. Instructions to join that are in the description below. If you want to get access to the model for all the late updates, remember you can sign up on the site. We have plans starting at as little as $7 a week. It's $1 a day. It gets you access to the plugs, gets you access to all the sports, and then we do have the lineup builder new and improved under a different package. So make sure you guys check that out. Like and subscribe the video, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks.